Hey Geeks, welcome back to the Geeksider Show. My name is Josh, and this is the very first episode of a new video series I'm doing called Josh's Collectible Corner. For this video, I'm going to be reviewing and showing off the Spider-Man Hot Toys, Spider-Man Homecoming in his tech suit, and all of his accessories. Now, we'll start off by showing a close-up of the actual figure and all of the accessories that come with him. Here we see Spider-Man Homecoming in his tech suit. And the suit is really sharp. I love the stand. The stand's really cool. And there we see the Tom Holland spare head, and the sculpt on that is absolutely bananas. The likeness is crazy. The spider wings, a couple of extra web shooters, a spare mask if you want to use the Tom Holland head. He can hold the mask, although it's kind of hard to put the mask in his hands, and that will not fit over his head, so don't try. Got spare eyes with some wide eyes, squint eyes, different eyes. You can see the eyes I have on there right now are very squinty eyes. Lots of spare hands. We have wall crawling hands, fists, web shooting hands. Speaking of web shooting, there are the webs. We've got the cobweb, a couple of longer webs, a couple of the weaponized webs. And we have his Science Today book, which actually has words in it. It's the same 2 pages over and over again, but it has words. And again, since his hands don't grip really that well, you can't really put the book in his hand, which kind of stinks. And his backpack. And that's all of the accessories that come with the figure. And the first thing you should always do whenever you get any Hot Toys figure, any of the 6-scale Hot Toys, always read the instruction book. One of the big things about this particular figure is if you leave him in a dynamic pose, something where his joints are articulated particularly far, you could do damage to the suit. The suit is actually cloth, so if you leave him in one of those dynamic poses for too long, you can damage the suit and leave wrinkles. And that's a pretty big bummer. That's one of the major drawbacks to this figure. I would almost rather, maybe if they used not such great material, or even if they had just done a really great paint job of the suit. I don't know. I'm looking at right now maybe pre-ordering the Batman Animated Series 6th scale, and that's all painted, and that looks awesome. I'm almost kind of wondering if that would have been a better idea with any toy that you're going to put in a super, like Spider-Man. You gotta put him in a Spider-Man-esque pose, right? Well, if you leave him in that pose for too long, you can actually damage the suit. And that's a huge drawback for this particular toy. But this is an awesome toy. Okay, changing out the eyes. I'm gonna take him off his stand here. Now, changing out the eyes, you have to get your fingernail, if you have fingernails, kind of in one of the corners or on the edge, and be very careful. It's really nerve-wracking. The eyes are just magneted in, but it really is stressful trying to get these things out. Just worrying about damaging the suit. There we go, I got one eye out. And I'm seeing here, I'm going to try to get another one. And just be very careful. My nails are really not very long right now, so this is kind of challenging. There we go. Got that one out. And I think I'm going to go with the full eye. And they just pop right in. I mean, they're easy to put in. They're magnets, so you don't got to like snap them in or anything. They just zip right in. And that one. And there you go. The hands come off very easily. They come right off, as well as the web shooters, if you want to replace the web shooters. They come with 2 different kinds of web shooters. Web shooters that you can actually stick the web in so that it looks like he's firing off his webs, or just a plain web shooter without any channel for the web to come out of. Another thing that I want to mention, when you're putting the hands back on, you can feel the suit move. It slides up and down a little bit, and that's a little bit nerve-wracking just because it is an expensive toy, and messing around with it a whole bunch, I feel like maybe you could do some damage to this thing just trying to replace some of the parts or do a dynamic pose. Now let's pop this head off. The head comes off fairly easily, and we'll put on the Tom Holland head, and you can see it goes on very easily, has a lot of articulation. Actually, I didn't get it on good. Haha. There we go. It looks really great, and the likeness is just absolutely incredible. That looks just like Tom Holland. It's almost a little bit scary. Although I will say, I'll have to do a close-up here, it looks like one eye is looking off in one direction. Let's see if I can get a close-up of that. Now, putting on his wings, super easy. They just magnet on. There we go. And that looks really great right there. But these are plastic. They're not malleable, they're not cloth or anything like that, so you're really limited in the amount of poses that you can do with the wings. You could do some cool stuff though, like diving. You could recreate that shot from the movie where he's diving off of the Washington Monument. Web shooters, like I said, they come with two different kinds. One where you can slide the web into the channel like he's shooting off a web. In this one you can even put the cobweb on the end of it. And thwip. I wish there was less give in the webs actually, because if you leave the cobweb in one of these long ones for too long, I have a feeling that you're going to warp it a little bit. Now let's see if we can get this guy into some poses. I'm not going to leave him in the dynamic poses for too long, but I want to get some just so you guys can see the range of motion of this figure. Okay, here you can see I got him into a swinging pose. He's thwipping right at the camera and holding onto that other web with the backhand. And again, you can see the articulation, particularly on that back leg, is really great. The toys point really well, but you can also see here at the hip joint, you leave it in this position for too long, you are really going to damage the suit. Behind the knees as well, probably in the front of the knees. Here we have another trademark Spider-Man pose, hanging upside down. Got him holding onto the web with his feet. I just kind of jammed that web right there in between his feet. There's no channel or anything for that web to go into. It's just his feet are so articulatable that you can just kind of jam the web right in there. I didn't want to articulate the knees too much. I felt like I was forcing them to get that position. I didn't want to go any farther than that. If you wanted to force yours a little bit farther and get a better looking pose, you can go ahead and do that. I'm not going to do that with mine. And then he's thwipping again toward the camera, hanging upside down, trademark Spider-Man pose. And this is really just more your standard action pose. And even this, you can see right there at the hips, it's putting a lot of stress on the suit. The back of the knees, that front leg is fine, aside from the hip. And there at the elbow with that back arm. If you leave him in these action poses for too long, you will damage the suit. And that is really the main downfall of this particular figure. It's a great figure, but for display purposes, you're going to have to do him in a very mundane pose just to prolong the longevity of the figure. And I think that's pretty much it for this video. This is it is a very good figure. I just wish that the costume, the suit was a little more durable. I can already see just from no more posing that I've done for this video, It's already starting to wrinkle here around his hips. So if I'm going to give it an overall score, how good is this figure? That's going to be a ding. I'm going to give this figure a 7 out of 10. It's a very good figure. It looks amazing. That's the only thing really is the wear and tear on the costume is really going to decrease the longevity, the lifetime of the figure. I have a feeling unless you pose it just in a very Monday pose and leave it that way, and only really do the dynamic poses every once in a while and not for a very long time, your figure's not going to last very long. It's going to start to look a little crummy. So 7 out of 10 for this figure. That's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to let me know by dropping a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. This is going to be a weekly video series. I'm going to try to get these out every Thursday from here on out. When Anna goes back to work, she's going to be off on Thursday, so I'm going to be home with the baby alone. And if the baby's being good, one of these videos is going to come out. That's how it's going to work. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.